Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we will discuss the explosive climax where Sheila breaks into Taylor's house with a knife, leading to Deacon shooting his own wife to save Taylor, landing him in prison while Taylor promises to wait for him. And we all knew this was coming. We just knew it, because it is Sheila Carter. You don't just tell Sheila Carter that you are leaving her for another woman and expect her to just walk away. It does not happen. It never happens. So when Deacon thought he had it all under control, he was so wrong. He was dead wrong. Literally almost dead wrong. But let's back up. Let's really look at how this all went down, because the details are insane. Just absolutely crazy. We have been watching this build for weeks. The tension, the lies, the secret romance between Deacon and Taylor, and we all saw the spoilers. We saw the timeline where Sheila corners Taylor in her office with a pizza cutter. A pizza cutter! Which is terrifying, but also kind of ridiculous. But that was just the appetizer. That was just Sheila testing the waters of her own rage. Because what happens next is not a pizza cutter. It is a sharp, deadly knife. And it ends in a gunshot that is going to change the bold and the beautiful forever. So here's the thing. Deacon actually believed he could manage Sheila. He had that heartbreaking conversation with her at Il Giardino. He told her he wanted a divorce. He told her he was in love with Taylor, and Sheila, being the master manipulator that she is, played along. She told him she was going to walk away. She said she wouldn't do anything to land herself back in prison. And Deacon bought it. He actually bought it. Hope warned him. Hope told him that Sheila was not clueless and that Sheila was dangerous. But Deacon was so blinded by his new love for Taylor that he just ignored the red flags. And there were so many red flags. A giant parade of red flags. But Deacon just wanted to be happy. He wanted his fresh start. He wanted to be the good guy who gets the classy girl. But you cannot erase your past when your past is Sheila Carter. And Sheila was not walking away. Not a chance. She was reeling. She was fuming. The betrayal was eating her alive from the inside out. She was humiliated. Deacon cheated on her. With Taylor, the woman who was supposed to be her friend, the woman who tried to be her psychiatrist, the woman who Sheila actually saved from jumping off a roof not that long ago. And now Taylor is a husband stealer. At least in Sheila's twisted mind. So Sheila snaps. She completely loses whatever tiny grip on reality she had left. She goes full villain. Classic Sheila. So it is nighttime. Steffi and Finn are out of town for a night. They are gone. And Taylor is alone at the Cliff House. The Cliff House. The same house where so much drama always happens. The ocean waves are crashing. It is dark, it is isolated, and Taylor is just there, probably thinking about Deacon. Probably thinking about how they are going to go public with their relationship. How they are going to fight for their love despite all the naysayers. And then the pounding starts. Loud, aggressive pounding on the door. Taylor jumps. She knows. Deep down, she knows who it is. Because who else comes pounding on a door at the Cliff House in the middle of the night? It is Sheila, and Sheila is not here to talk. She is not here to cry about her divorce. She is frantically breaking into the house. She forces her way in, and she is armed. She has a sharp knife, a real knife, glistening in the dim light of the living room. And she is screaming. She is vowing to finish off the husband stealer. Those are her words. Husband stealer. And you have to think about the history here. The deep, dark history of the show. Sheila has shot Taylor before. Years ago. In the 90s. Sheila shot Taylor and Taylor was presumed dead for years. She was off with Prince Omar in Morocco. All because of Sheila. So Taylor has severe PTSD when it comes to Sheila and weapons. And now here is Sheila again. Decades later. In Taylor's daughter's house. With a weapon. Coming for her life again. It is a nightmare repeating itself. Taylor is terrified. She is backing away. She is trying to use her words. She is a world-renowned psychiatrist. She tries to talk Sheila down. She tries to tell her that violence is not the answer. But Sheila is gone. The lights are on, but nobody is home except the monster. Sheila is completely out of control with jealousy. She is a woman scorned. And she is dangerous. The struggle begins. It is physical. It is brutal. Taylor is fighting for her life. Furniture is getting knocked over. Lamps are crashing. The beautiful Cliff House living room is being destroyed. And Taylor is getting overpowered. Sheila is fueled by pure, unadulterated rage. She pushes Taylor, she corners her. Taylor is trapped against the wall. There is nowhere to go. The ocean is behind her. The crazy lady with the knife is in front of her. Taylor is facing imminent death. She sees her whole life flashing before her eyes. She thinks about Steffi. She thinks about Thomas. She thinks about Ridge. And she thinks about Deacon, the man who brought this danger to her door. And right at that exact moment, right as Sheila raises the knife, right as she swings it down to stab Taylor and end her life once and for all, the door bursts open. It is Deacon Sharp. And he is not empty-handed. He has a gun, a loaded gun, which is crazy because Deacon is a convicted felon. Where did he get a gun? Why does he have a gun? But he does, because he must have realized that Sheila was missing. He must have realized that her promise to walk away was a total lie, and he knew exactly where she would go. He raced to the cliff house, and he got there just in the nick of time. Deacon bursts in, and he sees it. He sees the woman he loves, Taylor, backed into a corner, and he sees his wife, Sheila, about to murder her. And Deacon screams. He screams at the top of his lungs. He yells for Sheila to stop. He begs her to drop the knife. He is holding the gun with both hands, aiming it right at his wife. But Sheila does not care. She does not even flinch. She is so consumed by her jealousy and her hatred that she does not even process the fact that there is a gun pointed at her. She just wants Taylor dead. She continues her swing. She is going for the kill, and then, bang, a dry, deafening gunshot rings out. It echoes through the cliff house. It echoes over the sound of the crashing ocean waves. It is loud. It is terrifying. And it stops everything. Sheila freezes. The knife drops from her hand. It clatters onto the hardwood floor. And then Sheila falls. She collapses onto the ground. Blood starts pooling. She is down. Taylor is in absolute shock. She is sliding down the wall. She cannot breathe. She cannot process what just happened. She was a second away from dying. And now Sheila is bleeding out on the floor of Steffi's house. And Deacon, poor, stupid, heroic Deacon, he is shaking. He is trembling so hard that he drops the weapon. The gun hits the floor next to the knife. He just shot his own wife. He pulled the trigger on the woman he married, the woman who helped him, the woman who loved him in her own crazy way. But he had to do it. He had to do it to protect his true love. He had to save Taylor. But the reality of what just happened crashes down on him instantly. He is not a cop. He is not a hero with a badge. He is Deacon Sharp, a man with a massive criminal record, a man who just discharged a firearm in a residential home, a felon in possession of a weapon, and he just shot someone. Even if it was to save Taylor, even if it was self-defense, the law does not care. The law sees a felon with a gun, and Sheila is hovering between life and death. She is barely breathing. Deacon rushes to her, or maybe he rushes to Taylor. It is chaos. They have to call 911. The sirens are coming. The police are coming. The paramedics are coming. It is a massive crime scene. And this is where the story shifts from a thriller to a massive legal and family drama. Because the fallout from this is going to be nuclear. First of all, Sheila is rushed to the hospital. She is in critical condition. She is fighting for her life. And the irony is just dripping everywhere. Because Finn is a doctor at that hospital. Finn, Sheila's biological son. The son she shot in the alley. The son who thought his mother was finally changing. Now she is wheeled into his hospital with a gunshot wound from her own husband. It is a mess. A total, complete mess. And Deacon, the police arrive at the Cliff House. They see the gun. They run the background check. They see the felony record. And they put him in handcuffs right there in Steffi's living room. They read him his rights. Deacon is crying. Taylor is crying. Taylor is screaming at the cops that he saved her life. She is telling them that Sheila was going to stab her, that Sheila broke in, that it was self-defense. But the cops don't care. They take Deacon away. He is going to jail. He is pushed into the back of a police cruiser, and he watches Taylor standing in the doorway of the Cliff House, the woman he threw his whole life away for, the woman he is now going to prison for. And then the Forresters find out. Oh boy. The Forresters, Steffi and Finn, come rushing back, and Ridge is going to absolutely lose his mind. We already knew Ridge was going to go on a tirade just about Taylor and Deacon kissing. But this is on a whole other level. Ridge arrives at the Cliff House, and it is a crime scene. There is police tape. There is blood on the floor. His daughter's floor. And Ridge just explodes. He is furious. He is beyond furious. He cannot even look at Taylor because in Ridge's mind, this is all Taylor's fault. Taylor invited this darkness into their lives. Taylor decided to start sleeping with Deacon Sharp, a known criminal, a loser, the guy who ruined Brooke's life years ago. And because Taylor wanted to play house with Deacon, Sheila Carter came to the Cliff House. And Steffi is going to be unforgiving. She is going to be cold as ice because Steffi has trauma. Deep, unresolved trauma from the alley. Sheila shot Steffi. Sheila shot Finn. They almost died in the trash behind Il Giardino. And Steffi has spent years trying to make her home a safe haven for her children, for Kelly and Hayes. And now, because of her own mother, there was a shootout in her living room. Steffi will never forgive Deacon. Never. She does not care that Deacon saved Taylor's life. She does not care about the context. All Steffi cares about is that Deacon brought a loaded gun into the house where her children sleep. He brought a gun into her home, and he fired it. It is the ultimate violation. Steffi is going to banish Deacon from her life forever, and she might even banish Taylor, because how can Steffi look at her mother the same way? Taylor was supposed to be the smart one, the protective one, and instead she brought a literal war zone to Steffi's doorstep. Steffi is going to yell, she is going to scream, she is going to tell Taylor that she needs to leave, that she cannot be around the kids if she is going to be associated with criminals and murderers. And Ridge will back Steffi up 100%. Ridge is going to declare war on Deacon. Even with Deacon in jail, Ridge is going to make sure Deacon rots there. He is going to use all of his Forrester money and influence to make sure the prosecutor throws the book at Deacon for the weapons charge. Ridge wants Deacon gone forever. So it becomes this endless legal and emotional war. The Forresters against Deacon. The Forresters against Taylor's choices. It is going to tear the family apart. And where does that leave Hope? Hope is going to be devastated. Her father was finally doing well. He had Il Giardino. He was making pizza. He was happy. And now he is sitting in a jail cell facing years in prison. And Hope is going to blame Sheila, obviously. But she might also blame Taylor. Because if Taylor had just stayed away from Deacon, none of this would have happened. But Hope will also try to support her dad, because Hope always supports Deacon. She will try to get him a good lawyer. Carter Walton, maybe? But Carter is busy waiting for pregnancy test results with Daphne, so who knows who will represent Deacon. But the most tragic part of all of this, the absolute core of this new storyline, is Taylor and Deacon. Because despite the blood, despite the trauma, despite the fact that her entire family hates him and wants him dead, Taylor is not backing down. She is not walking away from Deacon. The timeline told us that Taylor and Deacon dig their heels in. They decide nothing stands in the way of them being together. And this shooting just proves it. Deacon proved his love for Taylor in the most extreme way possible. He took a life, or almost took a life. He shot his own wife. He sacrificed his freedom. He sacrificed his restaurant. He sacrificed everything just to make sure Taylor took another breath. And Taylor knows that. She feels that deep in her soul. She is a psychiatrist. She understands human behavior. She knows that Deacon's act was an act of pure selfless love, and she is not going to abandon him. So we are going to see these heartbreaking scenes, Taylor going to the county jail, walking through the metal detectors, sitting down in the visitor room, picking up that heavy plastic phone, and looking at Deacon through the thick, bulletproof glass. Deacon is going to be in an orange jumpsuit. He is going to look tired. He is going to look defeated. He is going to tell Taylor that she should just walk away, that she should go back to Ridge, that she should fix her relationship with Steffi. He will tell her that he is no good for her and that he ruined everything. But Taylor is going to cry. She is going to press her hand against the glass, and she is going to promise him, she is going to promise to wait for him, however long it takes. 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. She does not care. She is going to wait for Deacon to get out of prison so they can reunite. Because they have a real love story. It is not just a fling. It is not a rebound from Ridge. It is real. And it was forged in blood and fire. And this is just going to make Ridge even more angry. knowing that his ex-wife, the mother of his children, is dedicating her life to a prison inmate. It is going to be the scandal of Los Angeles. The Forresters will be humiliated. The press will be all over it. Renowned psychiatrist waits for convicted felon. It is going to ruin Taylor's reputation. Sheila might not even need to go after Taylor's medical license anymore. The scandal itself might ruin Taylor's career. But Taylor will not care, because she has found something real. And what about Sheila? If she survives, and let's be real, it is Sheila Carter. She has survived worse. She survived a bear attack. She survived falling off a balcony. She will survive a gunshot wound, but when she wakes up, oh my God, when she wakes up in that hospital bed, the vengeance that is going to brew inside of her, she is not just a scorned woman anymore. She is a gunshot victim. She is going to use this. She is going to play the victim. She is going to tell the cops that Deacon tried to murder her in cold blood. She is going to twist the story. She will say she just went to the Cliff House to talk, to get closure, and that Taylor attacked her, and that Deacon shot her to shut her up. Sheila is a master spinner of lies. And without video evidence in the Cliff House, it is going to be a massive he said, she said situation. Except she is a sweet, innocent victim with a bullet hole in her chest. And he is a known felon with a history of violence. The jury is going to have a field day with this. So the trial of Deacon Sharp is going to be the event of the year. Taylor taking the stand, crying, begging the jury to believe her. Sheila taking the stand in a wheelchair, looking frail, crying fake tears. Steffi sitting in the gallery, glaring at Deacon. Ridge pacing the halls outside the courtroom. It is going to be spectacular television, because this is what Bold and the Beautiful does best. They take a simmering secret and they blow it up with a literal weapon. And I just keep thinking about the sheer panic in that Cliff House. The sound of the ocean outside. The sound of the gunshot inside. It is poetic in a really messed up way. Deacon was supposed to be the bad boy who finally made good. He had his pizza place. He had his daughter's respect. He was doing it. He was finally winning at life. And all it took was one bad decision. Marrying Sheila. That was the original sin. And now he is paying for it with his freedom. But you also have to ask yourself, did Deacon secretly want to shoot Sheila? Was it just about saving Taylor? Or was it also about freeing himself from the monster? Because he knew Sheila would never really let him go. He knew the divorce was going to be messy. He knew she might go after his restaurant or Taylor's license. So in that split second, when he pulled the trigger, was there a tiny part of him that thought, this solves all my problems? It is a dark thought. But it is a soap opera. And Deacon has a dark side. And Taylor, she is going to need so much therapy. The irony of the psychiatrist needing a psychiatrist, she is going to have nightmares about that knife. She is going to see Sheila's crazy eyes every time she closes her own. And the guilt, the survivor's guilt, knowing that a man is in a cage because she couldn't de-escalate a situation. And Steffi. Steffi is going to double down on security. She is going to hire armed guards. She is going to build a fortress. And she is going to push Finn away again. Because Finn is Sheila's son. And every time Steffi looks at Finn, she is going to be reminded of the blood on her living room floor. It is going to strain their marriage. Again. Because Sheila always strains their marriage. Even when she is the one getting shot. So there you have it. The absolute explosion of the Deacon, Taylor, and Sheila triangle. It went from 0 to 100 in the blink of an eye. From a pizza cutter in an office to a loaded gun in a Cliff House. And we are going to be glued to our screens watching every single second of the fallout. The legal battles, the family screaming matches, the prison visits, the hospital monitors beeping. It is going to be raw. It is going to be emotional. And it is going to be messy. And honestly, I can't wait. Because this is the drama we live for. So stay tuned, because The Bold and the Beautiful is just getting started with this storyline. And it is going to be a wild, wild ride.